Hey, if you think financial success is all about what you learn in school, think again. The top practice owners have 13 unshakable traits. They didn't learn any of them in a classroom. Today, we're revealing the habits, mindsets, and the moves that lead straight to financial independence. Are you ready? Here we go. Practice owners, tired of working hard but not seeing the financial results you deserve? I'm Eric Miller, and my best-selling book, How to Become a Financial Beast, is your game changer. Learn how to maximize profits, pay yourself right, and build wealth outside your practice. Download now for free. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Financial Beast podcast. I'm your host, Eric Miller, co-owner, chief advisor, Chronologist Financial Advisors, here with one of my
Eric
advisors.
Gersh, financial advisor extraordinaire.
There we go.
Marginally better than Eric Miller at financial advising.
Marginally better.
Marginally better at Eric Miller than financial advising. That's my new catchphrase.
Marginally better.
Hey.
So in case you don't know who we are, we definitely help healthcare owners achieve financial, freedom, stability, independence through premier financial advice. You can certainly check us out at econologicsfinancialadvisors.com, which I would go to because it's an awesome website. And if you are listening and you have not shared all this beautiful comment with one of your people, one of your friends, one of your classmates, what are you doing? So please make sure that you share, like, subscribe so that we can bring you this awesome stuff every single week. So yeah,
and send them to our website because they can see every episode, every podcast we've ever done is on our website.
Every single one that we've done. We've done a lot of them by now. I mean,
this has to be like
we've done over
30-ish.
No, I think we've done almost we did them all last year, so there's 52 right there. So we got to be in the 60s, 70s, somewhere around there.
Oh. It's more than I thought.
Yeah, probably is. So, all right. So we're still dealing with all the external noises of the financial markets right now. But we thought we would kind of do something a little, I don't want to say different today, but I want to bring up a list of, because we're always trying to show people that they do have some control over their financial outcomes.
Yep. And even if Jerome Powell gets sent to the gulag.
Probably very well deserved, by the way.
Oh, God, let's not get...
Probably very well deserved.
You want to make an episode out of that argument?
I'd be surprised if anybody even knows who Jerome Powell is at this point.
He is the head of the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, a completely federal organization, right?
Which is Eric Miller's pride and joy, and he spends all of his extra time learning about the Federal Reserve because he loves the service that they provide this country.
Not all of the extra time. Just, back in my early days, and then after a point in time, I was like, well, I guess we know who the masters of the universe actually are.
The Federal Reserve.
And I guess we'll go from there on that one. But I digress because
let's not get lost.
We don't want to get lost in the tinfoil hat of how destructive the Federal Reserve has been, even though they have been. The quality of the work that they have done to the economy, destructive. But or the fact that they are neither federal nor reserve. But you know what? Who cares about names at this point in time?
Right? It's the least of our concerns.
They're just words, for crying out loud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just words. They don't mean anything, like man and woman. They don't really mean anything, you know?
Whoa.
So.
Whoa. Ooh, someone's feeling feisty today.
Oh, boy. All righty. So we're going to talk about, what are we going to talk about? What did I say we're going to talk about?
The 13 actions for practice owners.
Oh, that's right. We said that we were actually going to go over some things that were worthwhile today. Let me see if I can even find this now. Where did this go? So I thought we would go over the 13 actions that are, what do I even call them? Traits. Most important money traits.
Click on, you see your picture, Eric Miller, right below that, the PDF sign?
Yeah.
Click on the PDF of money traits, because that should minimize the email.
Open it?
Yep.
If
I'm right, this should look better, but we'll see.
They look better?
Nope, looks the same. All right, well, never mind. I don't want to waste too much time on this. It's fine. I just see your email signature as well as the 13 traits.
Well, let's try this again.
Maybe try opening it first, then
maybe that's good.
Sharing. You know, for 60 or 70 episodes, we sure as hell still don't know how to use screen share very well.
The screen, it is terrible how bad we are at this. Let's see if that's better. There we go.
Much better. There we go.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we get to see a lot of top performing practice owners, and we're gonna do a speed drill on this one, right?
Yep.
So we're gonna go through these 13 money traits and make sure you guys know what are the most successful traits of top performing practice owners.
Yeah, because we see these themes time and time again. I mean, when I look at my I don't want to call them my best clients because they're not my best necessarily, but from a financial standpoint, my best clients.
Yep.
They tend to have a lot of traits in common. There is no doubt about that.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right. Well, let's run through some of these and see if they fit. Number 1, they see the big picture. They have a big picture. So I put here, like, they don't get lost in the minutia because it's very easy to get lost in the minutia, you know?
Yes.
They have a pretty good long-term vision of where they want to go. And they stick to that. And the decisions that they make are made through that big picture lens, you know, which is not always just on day-to-day stuff.
No, yep.
I'm going to say that's pretty consistent. We've seen amongst the top practice owners.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have short-term distractions for sure, but they always are going to keep that, hey, I want to have, $5 million firm, $4 million, whatever it is that they want. They tend to keep the big picture in mind.
Yep.
Okay.
Number 2, they are impatient with business expansion, and
yes,
I want to make sure that people don't confuse impatient with stupid. Right? Yeah. Impatient does not mean I'm expanding just because, if I build a bigger building, they'll come. No. Impatient just means that they don't spend 3.5 years figuring out how to expand when they're near or at capacity.
Yes.
So,
and they're just always like talking about it, and they're thinking about it, and they don't get, again, caught up in, stupid details. Like, it's not always going to be perfect timing to do something all the time.
Never.
Okay. They move quickly, and they do make pretty decisive actions, and
they make definitive decisions too. Because that's something I see a lot is people who are on the fence, and it's okay to, you got to weigh pros and cons in life, of course, but there comes a point where it's like, either do it or don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, how many times have you heard people just saying, well, I think I've always wanted, to have this.
Every day.
And it's like, okay. And they just never do anything about it. So
pretty much every day since October of 2018 when I started advising.
Yes. Number 3, they are patient. Now, they're impatient with business expansion, but they are patient when investing business profits.
Why are they patient?
Oh, because they know the value of money. Okay. And again, I think that when you see people that are at the top of their game, they're not wasteful with money.
Yeah. Some of them are, but most of them aren't. Like, they definitely have some discipline when it comes to handling the profits. They definitely understand, they have a strategic plan, and they're focused on that. So they're very patient when it comes to like how I'm going to allocate the money of our business. That is 100%. I've seen that.
Yep.
As well. What's number 4?
Number 4, they aggressively try to reduce their taxes or seek tax relief.
That is certainly...
This is a good one.
Yeah.
This is a good one. And you know what makes me laugh about this one is, and you get this as a financial advisor, right? You might charge somebody, I don't know, 1 to 0.25% of their business revenue per year is basically what our fee works out to. For a $1 to $4 million practice, that's where our fee basically works out to, right? Pretty simple. Work?
So like, because we charge what?
So if we charge say we charge $5,000 a year, right? Okay, on $1 million practice, that's 0.5% of revenue expense.
Yeah.
And people get caught up. Sometimes people get stuck on that without realizing that for every dollar of tax savings that we can bring to them or show them or teach them, or that might be 35% of a dollar.
Yeah.
So you're going to bitch about 0.5% of a dollar at most. That's a $1 million practice. If you're a $4 million practice, it's like what would that be? 0.15
Yeah, it's nothing.
It's crazy. It's crazy. The value of teaching clients tax savings is it can pay for itself in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, that's for sure. And look, I people don't understand the value of money, I think, and especially when you start having good years in your practice, and then they start having to write checks for $25,000, $50,000 a quarter, $100,000 a quarter. Man, that will start you on the road towards, I need to do something different, because I'm writing just huge checks to the IRS, and I don't know what they're doing with my money at this point. I think that's why we see that. They aggressively seek tax relief. Number 5, I think they got this one wrong. They expense their profits. This one said that they reinvest back into the business. I'm just talking about they treat their profits like an expense, meaning that they automatically and systematically take them out. They don't wait until the end of the month or the end of the quarter, or when their accountant or bookkeeper says it's okay. It just blows my mind when I hear that.
Yeah, they got to get permission.
They get permission from someone to take their profits out. Are you freaking kidding me?
Yep.
Like, no, you take them out like how you want to take them out. And the top ones, I think, do it on a minimum of weekly, if not monthly.
Yeah,
they have a schedule in which they do it. It's automated, it's systematic, and it is not wait until the end of the quarter or the end of the year before I take my profits, because I don't think that's a long-term solution. All right, number 6.
Number 6, they embrace business and financial analytics.
Yeah.
Right? Metrics, analytics, statistics, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. It's using data, provable data, to drive what decisions you make. And
I can't imagine. I mean, I've seen this, I've definitely seen guys that are just plugging along and they just barely look at their analytics.
I see people all the time. Most people just make decisions based on emotions, not based on facts. And, well, I shouldn't say statistics don't lie. If you do statistics appropriately, they don't lie.
Yeah, I would doubt that if you ask the top practice owners, like, hey, what are your acquisition costs, or what is it, how much marketing do you have, what are your marketing stats, and, what are your key revenue stats? I mean, they would be able to name them pretty quickly.
Yeah, agree.
What's your make? I mean, they understand the importance of the business and the financial analytics. They don't get lost in them. They use them as a tool.
No, they're a guide. Yeah, they're not a be all end all.
Yeah, and it just allows you to grow more predictably and just make better decisions. But you got to embrace them. You got to look at them. You got to confront them. And if you don't, you're going to be in trouble.
Yep.
Okay. Number 7, they can tolerate lots of money in their accounts. I put this one in here because, there's just some people, they can't tolerate having $20,000 in their accounts.
Yep.
Or 50, let alone 100 or 200 or 300.
I mean, you got to deploy your cash, but you don't have to deploy it immediately. It's okay to,
Yeah.
It's okay to have reserves. It's okay to make, educated decisions. It's not like every dollar you make has to get invested the next day.
No. You need to have cash available. Yep. Okay. You have liquidity available. It gives you, a sort like right now, we have times of uncertainty. Okay. I can promise you, if things get worse, there's going to be some owners that just quit and go out of business.
Yeah.
And if you're, in their vicinity, you could pick up a practice that's doing $1 million a year for 50 grand.
Yeah.
Or 100 grand or whatever it would be. And if I was just talking to one last week, that's like, hey, we got an opportunity to buy a practice that's doing, $1 million of revenue for like $200,000. I'm like, that's good. That's
really good.
It's very good. Like, what are you worried about? Well, the cost of debt and blah, blah, blah. I was like, man, you guys don't have that in cash where you can just buy it outright? Like there's definitely benefits to having a ton of some cash sitting around that you can
Absolutely.
do. So, make sure you guys have your liquidity or credit lines, widely open.
Oh.
All right. Number 8.
Number 8.
Yeah.
That's perfect for me. They are very charitable.
Why is that perfect for you? You don't come across as the charitable type, Gersh.
No, I mean, I like this one. I think this is a good one.
But why do you like this one?
I like this one because I've seen it. It's funny you say that, or it's funny that I have to read this one.
It is pretty funny.
I had a bookkeeper of a client call me the other day to go over some numbers and just stuff he couldn't explain. He was like, talk to my bookkeeper. But anyways, she got all into how involved he is in the community and, sponsoring sports teams and just random stuff like that. But sure enough, he's one of my most profitable clients.
Yeah. There is something, I don't know why. I've definitely seen it. The people that are charitable, they tend to draw in good things to themselves. I don't know. Call it karma. Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
Do good, you get good.
You do. Listen to you. God, what have you been listening to? Tony Robbins now?
I'm a sensei.
Oh, my God. I think I just threw up my mouth a little bit right there. Wow. All right, moving on. Number 9. So be charitable, guys. Like, I mean, I have, it is kind of depressing sometimes where I'll see someone that has, I remember watching this one guy that had like $4 million revenue business and he was making $1 million. And I looked at his charitable contributions. It was like $500 for the year. I was like, what a tight ass, like give some money away. Come on, man. Anyway.
Fair.
Number 9, they have constant attention on their finance lines. All right. What do I mean by that? Like, they certainly don't ignore their financials. I think they're looking at their P&Ls pretty regularly. They know their cash flow. They know their projections. They got a constant awareness of money coming in, money going out. Why? Because they actually look at their stuff.
No way.
All right. Not once a quarter, not just during tax season, but pretty friggin' regularly. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So make sure you guys have attention on your finance lines. And if you don't, then you're just going to open yourself up for someone to rob you blind. Because there will be times where you will not see a $25,000 expense and what was this for?
Oh, yeah.
Until it's too late.
Yep.
I can't tell you how many times we've had to deal with people that have gotten ripped off.
A couple times a year, every year.
At least that. Yep. At least that. Okay. Number 10,
They ignore the traditional financial advice model. So
when I say traditional advice model is, put all your retirement money in your qualified plans, which isn't bad advice. Just don't have that as your only retirement source.
Well,
right?
I think a lot of the traditional advice that you hear, like Dave Ramsey and stuff, I mean, the people that are popular, they're written or not written. They're there to guide the average American, which is great. Those people need advice. Yep. And a lot of what he says is absolutely correct. I'm not going to argue it. But when you're a business owner, let alone a very successful and large business owner, it's a little more complicated than just buy ETFs and term insurance and you're good. Yeah. There's more to it than that.
That's kind of the thing we're talking about. Traditional advice would be like that. Hey, just save 10% of your income, buy term, invest the difference. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, that some of those things are certainly true, and they would be true for, just like you said, some rank and file people. I just think the people that are at the top of their game, just like it says right here, they think a little bit more about speed, velocity, using leverage, opportunity cost. And it's just, they kind of create their own playbook, and it's not just things that are just straight out of like a CFP booklet. So, and it takes that sometimes because it takes a little risk to get to the top of your game, and it's going to do things that most normal people would not do. But that's just all part of, I think, getting to the top of your game. So, number 11, they have discipline to follow a written plan. Okay. So look, your success isn't going to come from you being like, motivated. I still don't understand why people still go to these conferences all the time. Please tell me why.
Dude, if I knew, I'm sitting here thinking the same freaking thing you are, because I wonder the same exact thing every time I hear about these conferences.
Thousands of people. This isn't just your normal conference. This isn't just tips and tricks. This is real world application. This isn't just to motivate you to do something. This is to give you the tools that you need to be. And this is like every single conference that I see out there right now.
Yep.
Okay. You could spend half of that time on your internal financial systems, setting up where money's going to go, have a plan, have a roadmap, and then stay disciplined on that. Stay focused, track your progress. I mean, you're going to be fine. You don't need to go to a conference to do that.
No.
Okay. Well, maybe there's some networking opportunities and blah, blah, blah. But, I just don't know why people have to go to, 15 conferences a year. I don't get it.
They don't. There's the answer.
Okay.
All right. Number 12. This is a great one.
Yeah.
They reward and celebrate their achievements, right? I love this one because saving is great. Putting away money for your future is great. Being successful is great. But my God, please enjoy your life.
No doubt.
And take your kids or your wife or your husband or whatever on vacation. Get a break from the office, unplug. It's fine to not work 24/7.
For sure.
You'll do better.
You will. You have to celebrate your achievements. I mean, it's just like you're just gonna create a powder keg that's gonna explode if you don't. So I would highly recommend that you guys reward your achievements. Just like he said, even if it's just going out and blowing, hey, we're gonna spend, $500 on a meal tonight, between two people, which I guess is easier to do now than it was 10 years ago. Yeah. But, still, like, we're just going to go out and we're going to have the sweet bottle. I mean, just celebrate, just make sure you guys don't hold on to money too tight.
Yeah. What's the point of success if you're not going to enjoy it to a reasonable degree? Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's exactly, it just, it definitely boosts your morale. It makes it fun, all those things.
Yep.
And then lastly, top performing practice owners, money trait number 13 is that they have high business ethics. So what do I mean by that? So, I think most of the people that are in it for the long game, they've had that moment where they could have taken a shortcut, you know?
Yep.
They could have offered a service that was kind of towing the line of whether or not it was actually going to do good or not. They didn't, take advantage of the system where they could have. Okay.
Yep.
And that gave them some short-term sneeze. That gave them some short-term pains, right? Because they were seeing some of their colleagues or some other people in the industry. So how's this guy doing like so much money a month?
Yeah, he's got some secret Medicare code.
Exactly. How are they doing this? And it's pretty simple. They're doing something that really wasn't really legal.
But you know what? It catches up with you.
It does all the time.
Every single time it will catch up. It might take 5, 6, 7, 8 years, but it will catch up.
It does almost every time that we've seen someone that's doing something illegal or towing the line of whether it's right or wrong. It's going to be hard, but I tell you, you're going to feel so much better, and you're going to build a good reputation of trust that, also not screwing somebody over, not screwing your staff over, not screwing a vendor over. I've seen people that are actually proud of themselves.
Your patience, right?
Yeah.
I've seen doctors. I mean, I shouldn't say I haven't had a client, but I've had clients that speak about their associates like, oh, my associate, you should see how good they are about padding the bill. And it's like,
yeah,
it might bring you more money in the short term, but in the long term, that person's going to feel padded. They're going to tell their friend who's going to tell their friend. And eventually it's going to, you're going to have a bad reputation.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man.
I digress.
No, I think it's that's probably one of the most important things right there. It is your business ethics and your financial success is going to be correlated very highly.
Yep.
Long term. I've seen a lot of people again that have gotten rich doing things wrong, but very few of them have been able to keep their wealth.
Yes.
So that's what I think is the long game on this. So that's it, man. Those are the 13 traits.
I liked it.
And I do like that because, I think these are, these traits aren't just like, it's not about luck. It's not about like, oh, you just got to hustle your way into things. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like really having good long-term traits and that are going to lead to long-term financial success. And when I say long-term financial success, I mean, I don't think it has to take like 30 years to be able to get to these things. It just has to be done, but 7 to 10, you do these things in 7 to 10 years. I mean, you do those 13 things right there and you come back to me in even 5 years, you're going to be in a much better financial condition than where you were. No doubt.
Very true.
So,
very true.
Okay. Anything else on this one?
Nope.
Not bad.
I think we're good.
All right. I'll see you guys on the next one.